Can you believe it's already halfway through the year? Let's take a look and see what things are happening in the real estate market in Reno, Sparks, and all of Northern Nevada for the month of June. Let's take a look. Well, we're continuing our trend upward on median home price for Reno and Sparks. We hit $530,000. It's another record and very telling, but I've got some interesting statistics later on in this slide to show that I think the days of having these big jumps increases, I think are going to come to an end soon. But we'll talk about it and see what our theories are. Looking at it trending for the last 13 months, you can see our pattern, especially just of 2021, how much higher they were versus 2020 so far. So we have been continuing our trend upward. Now this is an interesting slide here, and I'm going to get a little bit more verification, so I might have some more information on it on our next month's video, because there's something that's really interesting as you can see, it's a big jump up. So I'm going to gather some more information and see what's going on. Is this accurate? Is this actually a sign of the market starting to soften a little bit? So I want to verify that. We did change some things of how we record things to going under contract. And so I just want to verify that it's not a fluke and this is the correct number, because it is, double the amount from the previous month. So I'll check on that, but regardless, it wouldn't surprise me if it did go up at least. I am seeing things sit on the market, seems like a little bit longer. Taking a look at the month's supply of new listings, sales, and inventory. Very interesting. The sales and the solds and new listings are almost the same. So we did see those sold listings kind of catch up with the new listings coming on the market. Inventory did jump up just a couple of homes. So, I guess we're trending upward over the last 4 months, so that's good. We want to see that trend upward a little bit faster though. Staying just about the same month supply of inventory. We're half a month still, very low inventory levels here in Reno and Sparks. How many homes are for sale in your price range? Well, you can see that there are between 500 and a million. There are a lot of homes available compared to kind of the outer edges. You can see how it's kind of more of a bell graph for us. So there are a lot of homes in that price range, but there are still a lot of homes that are sub $400,000. That's just how many homes are on the market at that time. A lot of homes are selling quicker, and so we don't see them sitting on the market very long, and that's partially why we don't see as many as well. So if you are looking for something in that price range, don't get discouraged. We can chat about that if that's the price range you're looking for. There are more homes that come on the market than that. They just sell a little bit faster. New contracts by month. So this is basically how many homes went under contract for that month. So looking at June, it's about the same as May. But taking a look at it from the previous year, we can see that it actually is still lower than we were in last June of 2020. I think partially this was because we kind of had a lag last year of all these listings or homes going under contract, because obviously the lockdowns in March and April kind of pushed everything back of our normal timeline of that spring buyer's market, right? So I think that's partially it, but we'll see. I think this is a little bit lower still versus previous years. I always like to look at some national statistics, and we can see that inventory is increasing nationwide. This does not match up with Reno. Reno's market is still staying strong. I always find looking at these statistics that Reno kind of lags behind the national statistics. So we might see this in the future, but for now we are still going relatively strong, but we'll see if there's any hints of maybe some changes coming down in the future. Reno stayed the same for their median home price, $550 even. We can see the units sold went up almost 25%, and that days to contract went up. So went from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. So let's take a look at Sparks. Now Sparks did increase in price, and going back to that days to contract in the center, 45 days to contract, 288%. This is why I'm verifying these numbers for you and figuring out, is this just a weird fluke or is this a pattern that we're going to see? So I'm going to make it my goal to have a little bit more information on this for you for next month's video. So definitely be sure, if you haven't subscribed, to subscribe so you make sure you see that. Looking at Fernley, you can see it went up just slightly for median home price, and days to contract did jump up a bit there. Inventory's down 26%, down to 31 homes in Fernley. Driving to our capital, Carson City, $450,000. It dropped just slightly, and the unit sold, 75 homes sold, but 85 new listings came up, but that still didn't help enough. We saw inventory drop down to 38 homes. For Minden and Gardnerville, just a little bit south of there, home prices did go up a little bit, and we did see new listings go up as well, but still inventory can't keep up. We saw it go down a little bit, down to 54 homes. I always like to look at what's considered more of an affordable market for buyers and sellers. Always watch out for those HOA costs. Make sure it's still affordable with those. But you can see we went down, we were over $300,000 last month. So we're back down below $300,000. So that's good news if you are trying to get into the market with something a little bit more affordable in terms of sales price. Inventory did drop down a little bit as well, and so did new listings. So I wanted to take a moment, and the next few slides are going to be talking about what's happening with buyers. I've been talking to a few agents out there. We're kind of noticing a pattern, and maybe some changes in the market that could be down or could be coming up in the future. So this is some national numbers and slides that I'm going to be going over. And this first one is from a Zelman's June broker report. And this month's overall home buyer demand rating equaled 86 on a 0 to 100. I don't know every factor that goes into that per se, but I just like to see what way it's trending. And we saw that go down for the first time since November of last year. So it's the first time this year that we saw that the home buyer demand rating went down. So again, these are national, so we could be seeing demand go a little bit down, and I'll kind of go into why that could be shortly. Now, some of the respondents were asked, is it a good time to buy? Now, you look at June of last year, and 61%, almost 2/3 of them were saying yes, it is. You had really low interest rates, and prices hadn't jumped up as much as they have as they are today. So compare that to today. In May, 35%. Now, I'm going to go into that in a future slide of some factors that go into that and what may have played a role in that. But yeah, a lot of buyers are starting to get maybe a little bit more fatigued in the market and might not think it's as advantageous for them to buy today. This was a really interesting slide as well. So we use ShowingTime to schedule our showings to look at properties. And so this is looked over across the nation of how many showings are happening across the country. We can see that in May, it actually dropped for the first time for a few months now. And now, note that this is still higher than all of last year. It's still higher a number of showings. But we did see it trend downward. So we're seeing less buyers maybe out looking at homes right now. Are they going off and just pushing the pause button on the home search? Maybe. I know of a few home buyers that are doing that. I'm just going to see what happens later this year. Now, this is some of the reasoning behind why I think this is happening. I think buyers are getting fatigued, and I totally understand it. Even as an agent, I feel like sometimes I get fatigued just, trying to work down in the trenches with you, trying to get you a home. And sometimes it just doesn't work out every time. And while the market's going crazy, it's not fun to be able to have to tell a buyer your offer didn't get accepted. And so I totally understand this. And if you're thinking about getting into purchasing a home and you want to talk about, what's happening in the market, we can chat about that too to make sure we don't get buyer fatigue and hopefully come up with a game plan if now's a good time or maybe later this year or next year. So we can chat about that. I'm here to help you make the best move for you, but you can see a lot of factors in here are the record price appreciation. We're seeing homes jump up in price a lot. We see the record low inventory. There's not many choices out there of what they may want. And then record high percentage of sales price over list price. Right now in Reno, we're 103, almost 104% over list price. So we're seeing, and people are either waiving or paying over the appraised value of the home, so that's a factor as well. And then, record low days on market. Homes are selling over a weekend, sometimes in a day. So it's causing these buyers to get fatigued, and these mortgage rates aren't going to stay around forever, so we want to make sure we take advantage of them while we still can. Now some good news. Taking a look at forecasts of what's happening over the next 5 years, you can see that forecasters are thinking we're going to continue to trend upward in appreciation. Upward. Now, you can see 2020, and these are national numbers, by the way. Reno, Sparks are probably going to be higher. They are higher for 2021 already. But the thing is, homes are going to continue to appreciate year over year, is what's expected. So even if you do decide to push that pause button until later this year or next year, you still have the opportunity to get appreciation. I know a lot of buyers are nervous. Did I miss the boat on this one of buying a home? Is it too late? I don't think it is, honestly, with the interest rates, and we're going to talk about where they're heading. With the interest rates still very low and where homes are going to appreciate over time, there's still a really good opportunity out there. So let's chat about that. And if you're looking to sell, we can chat about that as well, and seeing how maybe you have to sell and buy something, what options you have. Finally, mortgage rate projections. You can see they are still forecasted to go upward. Can't get much lower than where we've been, so likely going to trend upward. We're still going to stay relatively low, still in the threes probably for the foreseeable future. So that's good news, but even a little bit of a jump could change your payment enough to maybe not qualify for that exact house. So if you want to chat about where interest rates and how they may affect you, let's get together. I'll put my information in the chat box below, in the description box, and please reach out to me if you have any questions. And I appreciate you guys for watching. If you want to watch any of my other videos, be sure to click on them over here, or and don't forget to subscribe. Leave a comment and let me know what you think is happening in our market and what you plan to do next. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Have a great month.